Albertine in trying to keep former world titleist Stefan Everts from stealing away the glory. Two riders, however, have their minds still on being crowned world champion at the end of the day. Number 5, points leader Frederic Bollet, and number 3, challenger Pit Meyer of Germany. The USGP is next. Hello once again, everyone. This is Art Ekman along with David Bailey and Davey Coombs from Budds Creek, Maryland. Budds Creek Motocross Park for the FIM Motocross final round of the 250 World Championships. Fans from all over the world are gathered here to watch this exciting round. The riders getting ready at the gate. Number 1, you see there, Sebastian Tortelli. This is the first time he's been able to ride with the number 1 plate since he came to America right afterwards and did not run the GP 250 series after winning the championship last year. Albertine right next to him with a 108 number on the plate, David.
That must feel pretty lousy since he just wrapped up the national championship a week ago. Here's the track map. You see the old start off to the left there. It used to go uphill. The new start off to the right. The track's going to run the opposite direction for the GP here as it did during the national. This is a look at Sebastian Tortelli taking us a lap around the racetrack. The track's in perfect condition today. There you see some of the hay bales strawn out over the track. You can see how hard it would be to find the berm with all that straw in the way.
Sebastian's longest ride in practice was only 20 minutes. He's only been on the bike for a couple of weeks coming back from that injured wrist.
Now this will get him a little bit of experience. I don't expect him to be top form today, but it'll be nice to get back in flow. If you got a headache yet, so do we, but this is what it looks like out there.
Under FIM rules, the rider with the best lap time in practice becomes the top qualifier, thus determining which gate position he desires, and that honor went to Kevin Windham with the fastest time. Taking a look at the 30-rider field, Robbie Reynard in second, Mikel Pichon out of Suzuki of France third, Tortelli qualified fourth, and look at that, Ryan Hughes comes back to the United States after running the entire season around the world for the GPs. Pit Meyer hoping against hope that he can pick up points on Frederic Bollet, and several Americans trying to throw the monkey wrench into primarily a European field.
Maybe he can cut a deal, Art. Well, it's gonna affect them the way they finish up in the top. The Americans are favored.
And they're off and running for heat number 1 of the 250 World Championship. Everts gets the whole shot. Pit Meyer gets the best start of the championship contenders. In fact, he's moving into third or second place right now. Jorgensen in third, number 57. But Everts is out in front. Jorgensen making the move on Pit Meyer. Jorgensen moving into second place behind Stefan Everts. You know, Everts did a lot of trash talking before this race, saying that the Americans were cowards for not participating after their long series throughout the year.
Well, there's Ryan Hughes just moving into fourth. Ryan's a fighter. He'll get in there and keep him quiet. But it seems like whenever Everts comes to race here, there's always surrounded by a lot of hype. That's because the guy is so talented, but he doesn't do Supercross. These guys don't have an opportunity to shut him up, but I think today they'll have their chance.
Well, right now, it's Everts out in front. There's Jorgensen slipping, and slipping inside of Jorgensen is number 3, Pit Meyer. So Pit Meyer, it's encouraging right now as far as staying in front of Frederic Bollet and picking up some points.
Kevin Windham moving up just behind this pack as well, number 114. The Americans having to shuffle their number back a little bit to give way to the Europeans.
Everts out in front. He was the first Euro rider in 10 years to win a USGP here back in 1993. There you see the slip once again by Jorgensen.
It looked like he tried to get out of that berm a little early. That back end just stayed with it, slid out a little bit, lost some position.
Number 3, Pit Meyer. Wants to become the first German national to win the 250 World Championship.
First time I saw Pitt ride was at the German Motocross the Nations. The guy was just flawless, so fast. Sometimes a little bit too fast, hasn't been that consistent over the years. And this year he's had a tremendous year, leading the points for most of the series.
He won 2 races this year. Boy, it was right in his native Germany that the world fell apart for him. He had a horrible round there, and then that allowed Frederick Bollet to sneak out in front of the points. Right now, it's Stefan Everts, our leader at heat number 1 of the USGP.
I've been racing since I was 3. I'm a pilot. I like to fly a little bit.
No matter what, we want a Honda up front.
I just feel like I'm on the right team and on the right place. Je m'appelle Sébastien Tortelli. Je cours pour le team Honda.
I guess you could say I was just a little bit hairier than the other kids. They said I was hairy like a bear, and then it was Yogi Bear, and now it's just Yogi.
Try not to think about who's behind you. You know, you try to always race in front of you.
You feel like you can be free.
It's time for E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
I've been thinking about this E-Trade thing, and I don't really get it. Stocks, mutual funds, giving people $75 just for signing up? And what's up with these smart alerts that help keep tabs on your investments? Look at me. I keep tabs on my investments right here. After-hours quotes and trading, 24-hour customer service, and trades as low as $4.95. What do I need with that? And this market flash thing, with its pre-open quotes, market commentary, and stock ideas don't pay my rent.
Authentic Rockaway Beach buckle, $5. You want a buckle?
It's like my mom's third husband used to say, success is all in your state of mind.
It's time for E-Trade. Sign up in January and receive a $75 bonus.
The USGP is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. First moto underway from Budds Creek of the USGP, and it's Stefan Everts, who had an injury-riddled season that took him out of the points race, despite the fact that he is a 3-time 250 world champion.
That's the first mistake I've seen him make. Just dabbed his foot a little bit there on the way into the corner. Could be the pressure that Byer's starting to put on it. This is the first time we're starting to see the two of them together. Before, Everts had pulled away. It looked like he was going to just run away with this moto, but now little mistakes, and Byer's intensity has closed the gap.
Look at there, Ryan Hughes has given Pitt Byer a real run for his money there in second place. Everts following the footsteps of his father, Harry, who was a multi-champion on the GP scene. Raced several Motocross the Nations with a guy named Acoster back in the old days of the Belgium team.
I raced against him in 1982. The guy was still fast, old enough to be my father. And he was amazing. He was part of a very strong team that year. We barely won it.
Well, Belgium has certainly created some great riders, as they've proved recently in the Motocross the Nations. Stefan Everts says he wants to ride 500s next year. And right there's Ryan Hughes, number 70. Ryan Hughes moving into second place, pushing Pitt Byer back to third, Kevin Windham fourth, Mikel Pichon in fifth now.
It looks to me, Art, like the Americans have changed the face of this race. Windham putting the pressure on, Ryan Hughes putting the pressure on Pitt, who closed the gap on the leader, and now you can see the fans, they're into it, and you can bet that Everts can feel these guys coming.
Ryan still has a shot at ending up in third in the overall points race for the 250 World Championship. He's in fourth right now, 4 points behind David Villeman. Villeman with a poor start in this race, so Ryan's got a chance to catch up some big points for that third placement. 2 weeks ago, Kevin Windham wasn't planning on attending the USGP. That was until Stefan Everts called the Missing Americans cowards in an attempt to draw them out.
You know, I think it's a pretty bold statement considering that Americans have just gotten off 28 race series, you know, 2 series combined. So, you know, 28 races is quite a bit. I think they have a right to want to stay home this weekend. You know, this isn't really a high priority on the American list. So, Yeah, I think it's pretty bold. I think that he didn't race that many races this year, if I'm not mistaken, only like 12 or something. So I'm sure he could find an off weekend to come race a Supercross or two if he'd like.
I was expecting some comments on it, but I think it hurt a lot of people, and the plan was not hurting people. You know, I just was so disappointed that the riders just said, yeah, we're not racing it.
A very honest Stefan Everett. He wants to race against the best.
Well, he wants so badly to be the best, and it's just unacceptable for him to come over here and win the race, let's say, and then not having beat Greg Albertine and Wyndham and the guys that have been hot over here this year. I think he would fly home feeling a little bit empty.
Checking out the battle for third is Jeff Stanton, who's won this USGP 3 consecutive times. He was talking things over with David Grant, the manager of Team Honda on this circuit. Of course, Stefan Everett and Frederic Bollet, a big part of that.
Wyndham really starting to work hard on Byron now. Inside, outside, not following, really forcing Byron to think. Looks to me like if Kevin can get around, he may be able to close the gap up to Ryan, and those two could close the gap up to the leader. So if Kevin can make this pass, this race is going to change once again.
Kevin Wyndham passing Mikel Pichon for that number 4 position, and now is putting the heat on Beyer. With Jeff Stanton now, let's go down to Davey Combs. Davey, take it away.
Jeff, I know you worked all week long with Kevin Wyndham, but how can you teach a guy in 1 week 10 more minutes of strength?
You can't. Honestly, he's been with me for the 5 or 6 weeks, and we do 40-minute motos every day, so it's not a problem for him. And he's motivated. He wants to win because of some things that were said and to prove a point. So I think he's got 40 minutes plus 2 laps in him.
How does this track differ from what we see here for a national?
It's really smooth today. You know, there's only 30 guys here, 2 motos. That's smooth as glass. So that's the big difference. Everybody's going to go fast for 40 minutes because it's so smooth.
Big difference in FIM rules is each heat is 40 minutes plus 2 laps, compared with the 35 on the motocross circuit here in the United States.
A lot of things can go on in that last 10 minutes as well. Concentration, sweat in your goggles. You guys start to lose their clutch. Anything can happen.
Everett, Hughes, Wyndham, and Beyer all within 5 seconds of one another in heat number 1. We'll be right back with more USGP action.
It's a store-wide super sale at LeMay Pontiac Buick GMC in Kenosha. Get 100% no money down financing. Don't make a single payment till February 2000. Get prices based on the factory's wholesale invoice cost. You'll see acres and acres of new cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans at spectacular price levels. You've got to go to Kenosha for the store-wide super sale. Going on now at LeMay Pontiac Buick GMC on Washington Road, Highway S at Route 31 in Kenosha.
If you've been injured in an accident, you don't have to feel confused or vulnerable. At Gooden, Garrity, and Barati, we will work closely with you to help you put your life back together again. We will work hard so that you are justly compensated for your injuries. Quality attorneys are not far from home. They are right here in Kenosha. At Gooden, Garrity, and Barati, we care about our clients. Gooden, Garrity, and Barati, smart, aggressive attorneys with a proven record of success.
Tonight on ESPN at 7 Sports Center, at 7:30 NFL Primetime, and at 8:30 National Hockey Night, Sharks Blackhawks. On ESPN2, beginning at 5, women's NCAA basketball, Cincinnati, Louisville, and Louisiana Tech, Connecticut, and at 9, college hoops tonight. And on ESPN Classic at 7, Classic Click and Pick, followed by Classic World Cup films. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Turning back the pages of history, the 1992 USGP at Unadilla was going great for Marnique Burfots until the last lap of Heat 1 when he falls and number 14, Jeff Stanton, takes his Honda into the lead and the victory. After a heavy rain shower, Heat 2 saw a battle for the lead between number 8, Edwin Evertson, and Stanton. It was the same outcome as Heat number 1, but this time, a Stanton pass of Evertson earned the checkers. FIM rules in 1992 had the riders going 3 heats. And in Heat 3, it was an absolute runaway win for Stanton, getting the whole shot, taking his 3rd overall in a row at Unadilla. Jeff Stanton, when he was racing, David, always took the USGPs really seriously. I mean, no foreigner was coming over here and beat us on our own soil.
Well, you could see that happen later on when he became teammates with Jean-Michel Bale. Nothing gave him more pleasure than to beat Bale. And I think he's got Kevin a little bit extra motivated for this race as well. I don't know if Kevin was as motivated by what Everett said as he was listening to Jeff talk about what Everett had to say.
Yeah, it was rumored that Jeff put a little spice into the statement. 5 laps into the race, Tortelli helped his old teammate, Pitt Beyer, by passing Bollé. And now Greg Albertine is putting some big heat on Bollé, trying to push the Frenchman back one more spot. There's Albertine to the inside.
Motors right around. That was just some good thinking. And it's tough. You really got to think a lot more. We already heard Jeff Stanton talk about how this track is smooth. That was my feelings when I saw it this morning. And it's just not as rough as it normally gets. Not as many bikes, not as many motos. No amateur day. Track's just smooth as glass right now. And here, Albie just takes advantage of an inside line, jumps a little bit farther off that plateau, and just monorails that berm right there. Takes over the position.
It's been 5 years since Albie ran the GPs. Said it was really tough to get psyched up for this one, but it was nice to see old friends. But it looks like the competitive spirit is back once he gets on the track. Stefan Everett has led every lap of our heat number 1.
If you want to watch a guy that's smooth, just feast your eyes on Everett.
And this track has really suited his style, isn't it?
I think the thing about Everett's is that he rides a lot of different variety of racetracks. During the GPs, you see everything. And one of my weaknesses was I was really good on the technical tracks, but not so good on the fast, smooth tracks. And that seems to be where Everett's really does well, and that's what he has here today.
Sandwiched around his 3 championships. Last year, he was runner-up to Tortelli, who beat him out in the last day. And then back in '94, he was runner-up to Albertine, losing in the very last race, the championship. Let's go down to Davey.
I want to point out a couple things to you guys about how the Europeans might have just a little bit of an advantage on the Americans. Number one, they groom the tracks much differently on the 250 GP circuit as compared to the AMA Mazda Nationals. They do a lot more watering, a lot less grooming, so the track tends to stay smooth. Also, there's only 30 riders here in the GP as compared to 40 in America in 2 classes. The tracks just don't get as rough. That helps the European riders. As far as the Americans go, their number 1 advantage, all these fans out here are carrying American flags.
And the first comment out of number 70's mouth, Ryan Hughes, to me was, hey, it's good to be in a place where you can hear the same language everywhere. He's had a good first year, though, over those GPs. He went over there with a great attitude to begin with.
I think his career here in the States has sort of hit a point where he wasn't that inspired. His results were sort of stagnant, and he wasn't really being shown any respect. So he went over to Europe. It's been a long time since an American won World Championship, not since '92, the late Donnie Schmidt brought home the title. And I think Rhino's got the tools to do it. He's got a new baby, and he and his wife, Jennifer, over there having a wonderful time.
And with Everett's leaving Honda, that'll get him the good stuff next year.
So I am going over there next year, and then, you know, if I have a good team and I have a good equipment, I'll probably stay there till I retire. You know, it's just, for me, racing over there is better for my mind. I don't have as many distractions or problems. Over there, I'm there to race, and that's it. And when I'm done racing, then I come back to the States. So, you know, it's tough in some aspects about the living and the lifestyle, but the racing part's pretty fun.
One thing you were saying, too, David, that I wasn't pampered over there. You know, everything wasn't done for me. And I had to do a lot of things myself as far as the bike was concerned and the travel logistics.
It's always been tougher for us to go over there and race during the Motocross of the Nations. There's nowhere to practice. Everything is more difficult, but it really drives you, gives you that fire again.
Stefan Everett continues to lead at Budds Creek, Maryland.
Do you like to draw, or paint, or maybe just sketch and doodle? Well, if you do, chances are you have the interest needed to become a serious art student. To find out, simply call toll-free, and Art Instruction Schools will send you this enjoyable art test. There's no cost or obligation. Take the test at home in your spare time and mail it to us when you're done. Our experts will review and grade your test. Call our toll-free number today for your free art test. Don't let the wonderful world of art pass you by. To get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number. Don't delay. Call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-233-0500. That's 1-800-233-0500.
Welcome back to the USGP in Budds Creek, Maryland. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs bringing you the action. As Stefan Everts is our leader, Ryan Hughes currently in second place. And Villeman is in double digits, which means that Ryan will pick up a considerable amount of points in his battle to try to secure third overall for the season.
You can see the last lap forward as they go over the jump. Final lap. Kevin really putting the pressure on Hughes now. These guys have really picked up the pace, closed to within about 3 or 4 seconds of the leader now. So anything can happen here on this last lap. These guys charging so hard.
This is an outstanding way for Ryan Hughes to end his GP season, especially being on the home soil for the last race. Stefan Everts is our leader. He won the 125 title in '91 on a Suzuki. Then 3 years in a row, 1 on Kawasaki, 2 on Honda, taking the 250 crowns.
There's the lap time, 2:29. That's 4 seconds slower than Kevin Windham's qualifying time earlier this morning. So the lap times have gone up just a little bit, which indicates to me the track is starting to get a little rough.
Everts right here, David Bailey, showing how smooth his style is.
Beautiful. Watch this guy, just sets the bike where he wants, everywhere around the racetrack. Cruises into that berm, both feet up. He's not really having to push that hard right now, but it's still a pleasure to watch him just make that bike go around the racetrack with the greatest ease.
We mentioned he won at a 125. He's won 3 times on the 250, the championship. He says he wants to ride 500s. That Triple Crown has been his dream. Do you think the Styler rider would be good on a 500?
Absolutely. Yeah, the way he just went around that corner, his feet on the pegs, sat down when he got to the part of the berm where he wanted to hook up, get traction, his throttle control, and his size. I mean, it just lends itself to being a fantastic 500 rider.
Stefan Everts, here in Heat 1, has led every single lap. Ryan Hughes still in second place. And Kevin Windham in third.
A little styling for the fans. He's got to feel like he's got this one pretty wrapped up.
So Stefan Everts shows us he can back up the trash talk. A little bit Bob Hanna in that action, huh?
You know, I think Michael Jordan does this as well. He talks perhaps the most trash of anybody in the league, but that's because he puts pressure on himself to do well. He's got to go out there and back it up. Some people like to put that pressure on themselves. Stefan may be one of those.
Stefan, after being injured for the first 12 rounds, did not participate. Tries to put the capper on the season right now as he goes over the finish line jump in the checkers for Stefan Everts. Stefan in first. It'll be Ryan Hughes in second. And Kevin Windham, a hard-earned third place.
You put the pressure on Ryan. Ryan did not make the mistake, so it's got to feel good. Kevin Windham's been on the hot streak, and Ryan just held him off.
Notice that Pitt Buyer, the title contender, in fourth. Boley in eighth. That means he's cut Boley's lead to 15 points. Let's go down to Davey now, who's with Kevin Windham.
Kevin, 45 minutes. How was it?
It was fine. I needed to get out with him, and that was the difference on the race, I think.
It seemed like it was the track wasn't set up, of course, like a Nationals. You had to make your own places to pass out there.
Yeah, it was tough for me. It's a lot different style of racing, and I don't know, those guys were riding fast. I just need to make my move a little faster.
Any other plans, things you do different in the second moto?
Get a start for sure.
A great effort by Ryan Hughes, and Rhino pulls to within 1 point of David Villeman for that coveted third place in the final point standings, as Villeman ended up in double digits.
Rhino, that was a long one, and that was a hot one. How do you feel?
tired. I'm not going to try to be Mr. Tough and say I'm not tired, but I pushed hard. You know, Kevin was behind me the whole time. I think that was probably the hardest first moto I've had all year, and just got to get back, relax, try to get enough energy for the second moto, and, you know, hopefully do it this weekend. You know, I'm trying to get third in the championship, so I got to be consistent, but I also want to win.
I know it also means a lot to you to beat the top American riders. You just did that with Wyndham and Albertine and Tortelli, but maybe more importantly, beating Everts after that comment.
Yeah, you know, I was a little bit mad about that, and I'm trying to, but, you know, he's a great rider. I'm not taking anything away from him, but, you know, it just makes me mad when someone insults my country, and it's tough. It's tough.
All right, hey, we'll let you go get rested up and get ready for the second moto.
Thank you.
You could tell the 40-minute motos really take a toll, David.
That extra 10 minutes really does a lot for you. I talked about the sweat in your goggles. You sweat so much more. And for Ryan, he had the pressure of Wyndham on him that last 10 minutes. Trying to hold that off seems like an eternity.
It would take some bad luck on Bolet's part to really put fire in the championship run, as he now has 15 points to pick up in the second heat. More from the USGP in a moment.
And our Craftmatic Model 2 adjustable bed is so relaxing.
It may even temporarily provide relief from my low back pain, Harry. Yet it costs up to 56% less than a quality flatbed.
I adjust my head and feet and fall right to sleep.
Call toll-free to get free information by mail about the Craftmatic Model 2 adjustable bed. This wonderful bed adjusts to hundreds of relaxing positions, offers optional warm, soothing heat, and relaxing built-in massage, yet costs up to 56% less than these quality flatbeds. Up to 56% less. Don't pay more to remain flat. Call toll-free and get complete free facts by mail about the adjustable bed that costs up to 56% less.
Call to get Craftmatic's free catalog right away. There's absolutely no obligation.
Call toll-free 1-800-344-8300. That's 1-800-344-8300 toll-free. 1-800-344-8300.
Check out SportsCenter every night for a preview of the 2000 ESPYs. Log on to ESPN.com for the Performer of the Decade nominees. Compare your picks with ESPN's when the awards are televised February 14th. Watch SportsCenter or log on to ESPN for a preview.
It's Big Monday on Hoops Malone, and Hoops is having a big party.
See you later, guys. Wow, 3 Ford furnaces in one night. Whoa.
It looks like someone's going to be sleeping in the doghouse. Big Monday starts January 10th on ESPN.
Welcome back to the USGP. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs with you from Budds Creek, Maryland, as the fans are anxious to see heat number 2 with these 250 riders coming down to the last moto of the year to determine the world champion. Stefan Everts on the right, one of his handlers on the left, anxiously awaiting to see if he can dominate heat 2 as he did in heat 1. Mikel Pichon, who has seen this track so many times, riding in America the last 5 years, looks to go out a winner in the final race of his season. David Villeman looking to nail down third place in the points overall. This guy has put the pressure. Ryan Hughes has drawn to within 1 point of Villeman for that coveted third place spot. And here's Frederic Bolet, who's in the driver's seat, David, as far as the World Championship in the 250s is concerned. We go back to 1994 right now to check out the action at Budds Creek. It was a tough ride for Greg Albertine in heat number 1, almost running off the track. Number 2, Stefan Everts, riding with a broken collarbone, would take advantage of that in a very close points race with Albertine. Number 92, Jeff Emig, riding in his only GP of the year, would take the win in the first heat. Greg Albertine would battle with Everts in heat 2, but Greg would end his day with a DNF, a broken pipe, in heat number 2. That left number 77 right there, Yves DeMaria, passing Talon Bolden for first on the last lap to take the overall victory in 94. We've seen some very close racing in the past.
I have a feeling we're going to see some more in heat 2 here. There's number 1. Sebastian Tortelli gets a pretty good jump. It looks like Kevin beat him out.
David Villeman on the inside, though, will get the whole shot. Wyndham is right there. Hughes in third in front of Everts and Albertine. A good, clean start.
The fast first few corners there, just wide open through this valley here, tapped out in third gear.
Boy, this puts This puts Kevin Windham in a great position for the overall.
As long as he's got Hughes back there behind him to have that buffer between himself and Everts.
Number 99, David Villeman, who will be next year a full-time rider for America's team, Yamaha. Coming over for both the 250 Supercross and 250 National seasons. So his support crew is anxiously looking at every move he makes out there.
And he makes a lot of them, too. It's funny to watch Villeman because he puts so much body English into making that bike take the line he wants to take. Both Villeman and Windham, right there, 1 and 2, are very smooth riders, as is Everts. But Villeman's body, in order to make that bike ride smooth, goes through all kinds of contortions. You see right there, trying to keep that bike low to the ground. He squats down. Very interesting rider to watch.
He's had 1 win on the GP season this year. And as he showed in the Supercross seasons, in the battle once for the 125 West with John Dowd, Dowd just eking out the championship that year, that once he gets ahead and gets a little pad, he puts on quite a show for the fans.
He is awesome. I had a feel. In fact, I think we had a conversation about, could Villeman get out there and lead a Supercross, perhaps win? I said absolutely. People looked at me like I was crazy, and then he got the whole shot in San Diego and led for quite a while. Kind of lets me know that in the future, he's got the opportunity to finish on the podium here in the U.S.
He was second last year in the 125 World Motocross Championships, winning 4 races. And, of course, as we mentioned, ended up second place to John Dowd in the U.S. 125 Western Regional Supercross Wars.
Right now, he's riding a flawless race. Windham has not been able to close the gap. I'm sure that's going to change. 45 minutes is a long time out there, and Kevin...
I was going to say, do you think he's kind of pacing himself?
I think Kevin is just studying his lines, trying to stay just outside of that roost, keep his vision clean. And then if he starts to feel a little bit of pressure from behind or can see Stefan in his rearview mirror, he's going to pick it up.
It appears at this point that Villeman and Windham are starting to edge away from Ryan Hughes in third. And, of course, Villeman is the guy that Ryan Hughes really has to beat to win third place in the points.
Yeah, I'm absolutely certain that Ryan Hughes right now is not holding back and being patient. He has got to get out there and put points on him. He just has to beat him in this moto to have second in the title.
Villeman coming dangerously close to the edge of the berm there.
These guys using up the entire racetrack, trying to find a smooth line. Here's another example of using up the whole track. Tortelli right there getting shoved all the way to the outside. Just about takes out our cameraman. That hill's about 45 feet wide. Those guys have to go all the way out to the very edge. Sometimes you wonder.
Tortelli's made a nice comeback from that very serious wrist injury when he went down to Unadilla.
I think part of that is he didn't want to come back and be way off the pace. I think he was concerned about making sure that when he came back, he was going to be as close to 100% as possible.
The overall is no sure thing for Everts. We'll be right back.
I've been racing since I was 3. I'm a pilot. I like to fly a little bit.
No matter what, we want a Honda up front. I just feel like I'm on the right team and on the right place.
Je m'appelle Sébastien Tortelli. Je cours pour le team Honda.
I guess you could say I was just a little bit hairier than the other kids. They said I was hairy like a bear, and then it was Yogi Bear, and now it's just Yogi.
Try not to think about who's behind you. You know, you try to always race in front of you.
You feel like you can be free?
Working like a dog and not getting anywhere? Feeling stuck, left behind? There's an information technology revolution going on. Do something about it. Call Knowledge Alliance at 1-877-IT4U. Register for a free IT career workshop. You'll get the training and guidance you need to get that high-paying IT job. Call now. Make IT your future.
Turning back the pages of history as we go back to 1989, and a young Frenchman, Jean-Michel Bayle, would win the world title on his Honda that year. But the U.S. Grand Prix was a race for number 16 American Rick Johnson. Johnson passing Bayle and everyone else, sweeping the heat races on the day. The second heat would have a battle for Johnson with the 1988 world champion, John Vandenberg. This was quite an accomplishment, David Bailey, for Rick Johnson, just coming off that serious wrist injury.
Well, it was amazing, Johnson's dominance at the beginning of the season. He won the first 5 Supercrosses in a row, then he had a wrist injury, and taking over the lead right here and winning at Unadilla on this rough racetrack gave him some hope, gave Honda hope that that wrist was going to be 100%. He could resume his career.
Back to the current pace right now as David Villeman is leading the second heat of the USGP here at Budds Creek, Maryland. But Kevin Windham, who took a third in the first heat, in second place, is in very good position to win the overall.
You better get moving. You know what happens is you can let a guy that you feel like you might be able to pass later in the race and let him have some slack. All of a sudden that guy starts getting confident and you pick up the pace, so does he, and then you're stuck. Right now, Kevin doesn't make a move on Villeman pretty soon. Villeman's going to start feeling good.
Villeman, the kind of guy that keeps his emotions inside. I'll never forget when he was in that hot race with John Dowd. He says, my focus really isn't on Supercross. It's on the GPs coming up in Europe where I have to maintain a certain standard there. But when he lost that last race, the shot of him kneeling down, very sad a face, tear coming from his eyes, gave him away.
Yes, I think you've got to say whatever you can say to keep yourself in the right frame of mind, and that probably just took the pressure off and say, well, actually, I'm focusing more on the outdoors. I guarantee you he wants to win every time that he steps on the racetrack. Here's no different. I mean, I'm sure he'd like to cap off the season with a heat win, but he's also trying to hold off Ryan Hughes for third in the World Championship.
Let's go down to Davey Combs now, who's with Allie Seymour, Kevin Windham's mechanic.
Allie, much better start for Kevin that time.
Yeah, he's right there behind Villeman. Hopefully he can get around early and go about his own business.
How is he between motos? I mean, 45 minutes. It's a long time for an American.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer moto, but he was fine. No different than a regular moto. Just something like he does at home all the time.
Kevin, of course, ending up second behind Albertine in the race for the AMA title this year. He had 4 wins. He was the winningest rider on the AMA circuit.
Just a couple of things that really cost him. I keep thinking back to the opener.
17th in that opener, boy.
Yep, and a DNF in one moto because he bruised his thigh in a kind of a stupid crash. I'm sure if he looks back at it, it could be viewed as that. And now he's trying to just cap it off with a GP victory and beat Albertine and probably make himself feel a little bit better, going, well, I know I have the speed to win this championship. Maybe next year will be the time.
What was amazing this year about Kevin Windham was the 8 hole shots in the first 14 motos.
Yeah, he definitely had the start wired. He sort of took over where Jeff Emig left off, getting all those hole shots. He's really starting to tighten the screws now. This is where you'll start to see Villeman.
Windham to the inside. What a burst of speed.
I was about to say you'll start to see Villeman protecting his line and maybe looking around a little bit more, but it didn't even take that long. Windham just shot in there on the inside and took advantage of the way he pushed Villeman into the corner too hot. Villeman couldn't hold it, and Windham just snuck into the berm.
Well, this is encouraging for the American fans looking for an American winner here on the GP circuit. And right now, with Everett in 4th, 2 riders between Windham and Everett, stands a pretty good chance to win in that overall, but he needs some help from the guys behind him.
He does need some help. Here's another look at the pass. Villeman goes into the corner, can't drop into the berm. It almost looks as though he just didn't want to have to deal with that pressure anymore. He's going, Kevin, go ahead and take it. I'll learn from you. As long as I stay ahead of Ryan, I'll be okay. It kind of looked like that to me.
It did. So number 114 on the plate, number 214 on the jersey, takes the lead, Kevin Windham. Kevin winning his very first national overall this year, and that was early in the season outside of Sacramento, California at Hangtown.
Well, this track today is just got me baffled as how smooth it's been able to stay. There's a lot of berms in the corners. You got to play your cards right through there, but most of the track's pretty smooth. It's probably more like what Kevin's used to during practice here during the regular national. Here's what it looked like back in June.
Kevin Windham hole shooting both times, and in weather conditions like this, Mike LaRocco going down, it's always good to be out in front.
It's nice to be look how dirty Kevin still is. You can imagine how horrible it was to try to see for the guys behind him.
Great control that day for Kevin Windham. Much different conditions right now, though, at Budds Creek, Maryland for the USGP. And Kevin Windham is eating this track alive.
I think he just likes this place. And it doesn't really have anything to do with the racetrack because it's going the opposite direction. I think it has to do more with just the surroundings, feeling comfortable, knowing he's won here before, not too long ago, and the soil. And Kevin does really well in this type of soil.
Kevin Windham is our leader. We'll be right back with more second heat action in a moment.
Cross the threshold into the new millennium. The 2000s are here. See all the new models. Take advantage of factory incentives and Schaefer's low prices. Schaefer Motors in Racine has acres of new Jeeps and Pontiacs in stock.
Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4, $339 a month. Jeep Wrangler lease for $212 a month.
Big selection, low prices, easy financing. Nobody beats a Schaefer deal. Nobody. Schaefer Motor Sales, 3 miles east of I-94, Highway 20, Racine.
When choosing a personal injury attorney, there's no substitute for experience. Domnitz and Mawick have built a solid reputation as successful trial counsel with insurers, attorneys, and judges throughout Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Rob Jaskowski. At Domnitz and Mawick, we've earned a reputation in the courtroom protecting the rights of accident victims and their families. We've won record awards in courts throughout the state of Wisconsin. Call us and put our experience to work for you.
Domnitz and Mawick, right here in Kenosha. There's no substitute for experience.
They defy all human instinct, for they are the ones who volunteer to place themselves in front of the target. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
Maple Leafs Rangers at 7:30. Panthers Mighty Ducks at 10:30. Wednesday on ESPN2.
A great tradition continues on ESPN2. Friday Night Fights. Join hosts Max Kellerman and Brian Kenny each week as they bring you the most exciting live fights of today. Friday Night Fights. Every Friday night on ESPN2.
We're back at Budds Creek, Maryland. After Stefan Everts dominated the first moto, Stefan Everts now is in 4th place, and Kevin Windham, who took a 3rd in the first heat, is now pretty much dominating the second heat as he tries to pull away from David Villeman.
Good news is, as he comes around those hairpins and looks behind him, he still can see Everts back there. Pretty good ways behind. Villeman's still hanging pretty tough with him.
Frederick Bollet currently in 11th place, but he's got a 15-point lock on the title.
Yeah, he's just trying to ride smart now. This is the time when you start worrying about, oh, I hope I don't make some dumb mistake or the bike has a problem. You give up the whole season and a world championship over something stupid. That kind of stuff starts to run through your mind when you don't have very far to go.
It's probably running through Pitt Byers' mind as well, hoping that might happen.
Yeah, he probably is hoping. He had his chances. He knows what it feels like to have a bad day, so he knows anything is possible.
Here's Bollet battling for 10th. It's Koikita out of Japan, and Bollet gets a good inside move and takes over 10th.
To work for that a little bit, get up in there and ride aggressive into that inside berm, but Koikita, once he realized he was side by side with him, didn't really feel like racing down to that corner. Chance going down, he just let him have it.
Koikita's been a good starter throughout the AMA season.
That helps him a lot in the Supercross. There, he's hard to move up. Here Bollet doesn't even go for the main berm. He tucks in even further inside than that. It's probably the little rut made by the guy's feet, which usually turns into a berm. Worked perfect for him there.
As bad as Bollet's start was, around 15, Beyer had an even worse start in the 20s.
Yeah, it's just, he had his chance in the first moto, and Bollet had bad luck. This time it seems to have reversed itself. Good news for Bollet, but kind of like to see the title come down to just a couple of points, and these guys really duking it out. Doesn't look like it's going to happen today. Most of the fans here looking up at the front of the pack anyways right now, and hopes that Kevin Windham and somebody can finish behind him between him and Stefan Everts and give one of the U.S. riders the win here.
Ryan Hughes has got a shot at the podium. David Villeman currently in second place. And Hughes, of course, would love to catch him and take over third in the points championship race. Here's Wyndham, number 114.
There's a look at Stefan now. All pretty evenly spaced, second, third, and fourth. He's got to be motivated to get up there and try to steal this win after what he'd said coming into this race. Kind of want to back that up. You can't just let the first moto do the talking. You need to end the day on a high note.
Everts would need a second place to take the overall away from Wyndham.
Now, you can see him. They're right there. I guarantee he's riding as hard as he can, but it's not easy to get around those two guys. They're racing with each other. Because the track isn't that rough, everyone's able to go pretty much the same speed. You make this track twice as rough, and all of a sudden Everett starts to inch away a little bit more. I have a feeling.
Stefan Everts also looking forward to the Motocross of the Nations coming up later in Brazil. He says, I haven't had a chance to win any title this year. It'd be nice to get a gold medal out of the Motocross of the Nations with his Belgium team, Pitfire. He's had a wonderful season, and he has showed the consistency that he's never had before throughout the season to be a factor next year.
Yep. Still, it's a disappointment, though. I mean, he's got to be happy and know that he has the stuff to win a world championship now, but that's a long flight home, knowing you're that close.
Pitfire, one of the true gentlemen in world motocross.
Doesn't he just, he looks like he should be winning. He's so aggressive. His posture on the bike, the way he gasses it. The guy just explodes out of corners.
Checking it out, Kevin Wyndham, David Villeman. Greg Albertine has now moved into third around Stefan Everts. Ryan Hughes in fifth. We'll be right back.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're going to love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You got to eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism, so you end up burning more calories.
Strength training these days isn't just for men. It's great for women, too. And Bowflex is designed for both. It's even been called the best home gym by Fitness Magazine.
Use as little as 5 pounds to more than 400 pounds of resistance. Follow our 6-week fast fat loss program or create your own from over 60 different health club quality exercises.
Bowflex is easy to own, and it fits in any room in your house. It comes with a 6-week guarantee on results, and you can finance it with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
Sometimes after NHL tonight, I take my knowledge to a sports bar. There's always someone there who thinks his knowledge is the biggest. Then I show them mine.
We're back at Budds Creek, Maryland, the Motocross Park. Art Ekman, Davey Coombs, and David Bailey bringing you the action. Right now in 12th place, a disappointed Pitfire.
Well, it's a bad start, Art. At the worst possible time he could get one. Right when he needed to get up there and have an opportunity at least to have a chance for the World Championship. Put some pressure on Bollé, but it's just not going to happen. He's still riding aggressive, though. I'll give him that.
Our leader is still Kevin Wyndham, who's done a magnificent job here in the second heat.
It looked to me like Villeman was going to be a little bit tougher for Kevin out front. And finally, Kevin just decided it's time to make the pass. Had no problem.
Fire's always looked aggressive and strong, but I don't think I've seen him this smooth before.
No, I brought it up earlier in the show. I saw him ride during the Motocross Nations in Germany. And of course, that track was a little bit more technical and slippery. But he was all over the place. Fast, but a little bit out of control. And here he's looked pretty good.
Greg Albertine now has come up through the ranks and passed Everts. Number 108, Albertine, the AMA national champion, gaining his first American #1 plate since coming over after becoming a 3-time GP champion.
You got to feel good to be crowned the new champion and go out and beat Everett, who's been on fire.
Albertine with renewed confidence. Let's go down and check in with Davey.
Joe, it looks like Greg is going a little faster this time. Looks like he got a much more inspired start.
Yeah, he was kind of upset last time. He got a bad start, fell down, a little disappointed, wanted to beat some of these guys. But I think he's going to ride strong now.
Does he still think of Stephen Everett as his primary rival?
I don't think so. I mean, he had his primary rivals all year long. So, just go out there and do the best we can.
You know, I wonder where Greg gets his motivation. He just wrapped up the title, his #1 plate. Didn't even really have much time to celebrate. He's here riding the GP, and I doubt if it was the first thing on his list. And to come in here going, what do I have to prove? Heck, I already got a #1 plate, and I got to be number 108, run the zip code around. And, you know, he's riding so fast right now. It's just that instinct of wanting to compete. Once you're in the action, it always comes to the surface.
And see his old GP rival in front of him, Everett, and want to pass him. That makes a mark. Here's Frederic Bollet. And the Frenchman has done a very good job at a conservative ride, knowing that he had the leverage all the time on this championship.
He's just going, show me that last lap board. Do it quick.
This would be the 4th title for a French rider. And the last one, of course, Sebastian Tortelli in this 250 division last season.
And you're just a ball of nerves when you've got a little bit of time left in the race, and you just got to make sure you don't do anything stupid and have any trouble with the motorcycle. I mean, even Jeremy McGrath, when he wrapped up the title in New Orleans in the Supercross series this year, he said he was a ball of nerves out there.
Bollet said his best memory in racing to this date was back in the 80 cc's when he didn't have any pressure. Well, I think that's going to take a back seat to 1999, David.
Absolutely. It's a little bit tough now to see where you're going on this track. The time of day and the shadows, very difficult to pick your line.
Will Bollet put the clamps on the championship? Will Wyndham take the overall? We'll be right back.
If you have thinning hair, you can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now. I could control the way my body looks, but not my hair. I was very confused about what to do when I started losing my hair. I didn't know where to start. I was looking for some real answers, and I got them from Hair Club's latest hair loss research update. It gave me the facts that I needed to make the right decision about my thinning hair. Now that I have my hair back, I'm glad I made that call. You can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm. Call now and learn how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's data bank and apply for a patent. Even if your idea is just to improve an existing product, call for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call 1-800-652-0101.
He takes the snap, drops back, rolls right, looks left for an open receiver. Wait a minute, he's going to run down the sideline. It looks like he could go all the way. ESPNstore.com. More than 15,000 items for the sports fan on your list. This holiday season, you've got to shop at ESPNstore.com. ESPNstore.com. A very smart play.
The USGP is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. And riding red right now is Kevin Wyndham.
He is looking sharp. Starting to salute the crowd. His American flags are waving. He's going to win himself a GP. That's going to feel good. Didn't get the title in the Outdoor Nationals a week ago, but this will make that a little bit easier pill to swallow.
And it'll be a good build-up to the Motocross the Nations as well, giving him confidence in a scene that he doesn't race in every day.
Right. Well, he's beaten the world champion, although Bollet, I doubt, is that motivated to win the race today, just the title. But to beat Everts and win this thing, ride against the same guys, it's got to feel good and give him a lot of insight into what to expect.
1999, he got his first national win, and here he gets his first GP win. That move into third place in Moto 1 was a must, but he came through beautifully here in Heat 2 as well. The first American to win a USGP since Stanton did it back in '92. And here's Greg Albertine. Wyndham's got to thank him, David.
Well, if Albie hadn't ridden so aggressive towards the end of that moto and passed Everts, Everts would have had the overall, regardless of Kevin's second moto win.
Albie with not only the South African flag on the side of his bike, but also an American flag. And what an act of sportsmanship there. Everts coming over to shake hands with Albertine after Albie just knocked him out of an overall.
Kevin taking a partial victory lap.
Doesn't leave any doubts as to his conditioning, does it? And there is the champion, Frederic Boulay. His first 250 title.
He's just going to get mobbed. What a feeling.
The French contingent that pretty much hits every race, I would assume.
World Championship title lasts a lifetime. This doesn't wear off.
Another significant event in an effort to get around Villeman, Ryan Hughes went down, but he still placed 6th and will be on the podium. A 3rd place overall. Robbie Raynard had one of the fastest bikes on the track toward the end of the race. Let's check out now with Davey Combs down in the winners area.
All right, Kevin, how's it feel? You just won the first Grand Prix you ever had in your life.
It feels great. You know, I didn't know how I was going to do after the first moto. I was a little disappointed with a poor start, but I got the start. I needed the second moto, and everything worked out for the best. This was probably the funnest race I've done all year.
It looked like you were clicking off the laps at the end just as fast at the beginning. That training with Jeff Stanton must come in handy.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure it was a question on everybody's mind if I could do 2 45-minute motos or 50 or however long it was, but I had no question, you know, because I've been working hard, and you know, I guess it showed today.
Finally, all the talk coming from Europe and everything, they remark the Americans are cowards. How's it feel to step up there and carry the flag like that?
It feels great, and I wish more of the Americans could have been here. Really, yeah, you know, I don't think anybody understands what we go through as riders, you know, flying 28 weeks in a row. So, you know, I have the Americans back. I am an American, and, you know, it wasn't really a race that I wanted to do. But once I got here, man, I was just having a blast. And, you know, you just got to give the Americans all the respect you can. And you know, Everts is a great rider, and unfortunately he made a comment like that. But, you know, you can't take anything away from those guys either. You know, they're great riders.
Congratulations on the win.
Thanks a lot. It feels great. Thanks, Dave.
A very proud American with Old Glory wrapped around his shoulders, Kevin Wyndham. And for Frederic Boulay, he made a lot of Frenchmen happy, winning the championship by 18 points. Villeman, Hughes, and Mervots rounding out the top 5. Let's go back to Davey and the champ.
Congratulations, you're the world champion.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I don't know yet. You know, too early. It's incredible. 1 year is a lot of work, and you know, long time ago I wanted to win. I wanted to be world champion, and today is a beautiful day. It's incredible. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Boulay made a lot of Frenchmen happy, but I think a lot of Americans were very proud of Ryan Hughes for the great job he did all season long in the GPs. Let's go back to Davey and Ryan.
Well, Ryan, I know you gave it all you had, as you always do, but ran out of gas that time.
Yeah, I was behind Bullman. I was pushing pretty hard, you know, maybe a little too hard, and I fell about halfway point, and then I tried to get going, but I just lost all the steam and just tried to hang on for 3rd overall, and it was a tough day, you know. I don't think people really know how tough motocross is. I think motocross riders are the best in shape of anybody in the world, and it's tough. Sometimes it's almost too tough.
Finally, how would you sum up your first year in the 250 World Championships with that 4th overall ranking?
I think it was good, you know. I think it was better than what I expected and what a lot of other people expected. I think, you know, I just got to train for next year. You know, I'm going to have good bikes next year, and hopefully next year I can go for the championship.
Full factory Honda sponsorship next year for Ryan Hughes in the GP quest for a 250 crown. Stefan Everts, number 2, moves to the 500s. But for number 114, Kevin Wyndham, this has been a big highlight, maybe the biggest win of his young career. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs saying thank you for being with us. This has been a production of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.